Computer viruses can be a nightmare. Some can wipe out the information on a hard drive, tie up traffic on a computer network for hours, turn an innocent machine into a zombie and replicate and send themselves to other computers. Having said that, here are top 10 deadliest viruses ever. Number 10, NIMDA. NIMDA first surfaced in 2001 and quickly rose to the top. The name of the virus is derived from the word admin spelled backwards. It just took 22 minutes for this dangerous virus to propagate via 4 different ways: email, server vulnerabilities, shared folders, and file transfer. The worm was released on September 18, 2001, a week after the 9/11 attacks, which forced many people to believe that NIMDA is a cyber terror attack, as it quickly captured almost all the sources via which the virus can infect maximum number of computers. Number 9, DownUp. In 2009, a new computer worm, DownUp, also known as Keto, crawled its way into as many as 15 million Microsoft Windows operating systems around the world without human intervention using a patched Windows flaw. DownUp virus is very difficult to detect without running an upgraded version of original antivirus and malware scanner. It might spread via removable drives like hard disks, smartphones and other thumb drives, adding a corrupt file to it so that when the device is attached to another computer, the autoplay dialog box display an additional option. DownUp has assembled an army of zombies which has the potential to steal financial data and other important information from your system. Number 8, Stormworm. The dreaded Stormworm struck the cyber world as a malicious Trojan horse program in late 2006 when users began receiving emails with a subject line 230 dead as storm batters Europe. It was without a doubt one of the most sophisticated and greatest cyber fraud networks ever constructed. It tricked the victims into clicking the fake links in an email that was infected by the virus, which could easily turn any Windows PC into a botnet, letting someone off-site operate it remotely for sending spam mails across the internet. In January 2007, it was estimated that out of all global malware infections, 8% is due to the Stormworm, as the number of this dangerous malware-infected PCs was close to 10 million. Number 7, CIH. A destructive parasitic virus, CIH, also known as Chernobyl, was first emerged in the year 1998 in Taiwan and quickly became one of the most dangerous and destructive viruses to ever hit, with a payload that corrupts data. The CIH virus infects Windows 95 and 98 executable file, and after doing that it remains a resident in the machine's memory, where it infects other executables. Once activated, the virus annihilates the data on the hard disk and overwrites the computer's flash BIOS chip, rendering it completely inoperable, and unless the chip is reprogrammed, the user will not be able to boot the machine at all. Although with increased awareness and advancement in technology the virus does not pose a serious threat today, but we can never forget the $250 million worth of destruction it caused. Number 6, Melissa. Melissa was the first mass mailing macro virus for the new age of emailing, which became the breaking news across the world on March 26, 1999. The estimated damage accounted to $300 to $600 million, after which FBI launched the largest internet manhunt ever to catch the author of Melissa, David L. Smith, which of course they did, and after the arrest, he was sentenced 20 months in federal prison and was ordered to pay a fine of $5,000 for unleashing the fastest virus of its time. The virus was distributed as an email attachment, and when the attachment list.doc is clicked upon, the virus seeks for the Microsoft Outlook address book to email itself to the first 50 names on the list with a message: "Here is that document you asked for, don't show anyone else." Number 5, SQL Slammer. SQL Slammer, a standalone malicious program also known as Sapphire, appeared at the starting of the year 2003 and was the first fileless worm which rapidly infected more than 75,000 vulnerable hosts within 10 minutes on January 25. Through a classic denial of service attack, it dramatically slowed down global internet traffic and brought down South Korea's online capacity on knees for 12 hours. Sapphire mainly targeted on the servers by generating random IP addresses and discharging the worm to those IP addresses. The abrupt release of infected network packets had a huge impact on the significant services provided by Bank of America's ATMs, Seattle's 911 Emergency Response Systems and Continental Airlines. All in all, the worm caused between $950 million and $1.2 billion in lost productivity, which is not much compared to what would have happened if it erupted on a weekday and not on a Saturday. Number 4. Code Red. In the summer 2001, a computer worm most commonly referred to as Code Red was unleashed on the network servers on July 13. It was a very sneaky virus which took advantage of a flaw in Microsoft Internet Information Server. This virus was for the first time detected by 2 of the EI Digital Security employees, and at the time when they found out about the virus, they were drinking Code Red Mountain Dew, hence the name Code Red. The interesting thing about this deadly virus is, it did not require you to open an email attachment or run a file. It simply needed an active internet connection with which it defaces the web page you open and display a text string hacked by Chinese. In less than a week, Code Red brought down more than 400,000 servers, including the White House web server. It's estimated that the total damage was of approximately $2.6 billion, with as many as 1 million computers hit by the virus. Number 3. So Big F. August 2003 turned out to be the miserable month for corporate and domestic computer operators around the world, as the 6th and most destructive deviant of So Big series hit the internet. So Big F infected host computers by fooling the users that the corrupt email they received is from a legitimate source. If the user opens the attachment, it exposes a security hole in the system, allowing the intruder to send messages via the trapped user's email address. Within 24 hours, So Big F set a record of replicating more than 1 million copies of itself, which later was broken by yet another mass mailer worm, MyDoom. However, So Big F caused an extensive damage of $3 billion to $4 billion, leaving infections in over 2 million PCs worldwide. Number 2. I Love You. Back in 2000, one of the trickiest computer malware ever was detected on May 4 in Philippines. Around 10% of the internet users committed a huge mistake by going on the name of this hazardous worm. The virus played on a radical human emotion of the need to be loved, because of which it became a global pandemic in only one night. The bug was transmitted via email, having a subject line "I love you," a notion appealing to many of us, with an attached file to it which reads as "love letter for you.txt.vbs." As soon as the file was opened, the virus took the liberty of emailing itself to the first 50 contacts present in the Windows address book, and also infected the multimedia files saved in the system, causing damages that amounted to $5.5 billion. Number 1. MyDoom. MyDoom explored its way to the malware world on January 26, 2004 and sent a shockwave around the world as it scattered exponentially via email with random senders' addresses and subject lines. MyDoom, also known as Novarg, is reported to be the most dangerous virus ever released, breaking the previous record set by the So Big F worm. MyDoom swiftly infected some 2 million computers and instigated a huge denial of service attack which smashed the cyber world for some time. It transmitted itself in a particularly deceitful manner through email as what receiver would first reckon to be a bounced error message, as it reads, "Mail transaction failed." But, as soon as the message is clicked upon, the attachment is executed and the worm is transferred to email addresses found in user's address book. The damage caused by this fastest spreading mass mailer worm was a whopping $38 billion.